The mountains of Kareth were older than memory. Cold winds moved across their peaks, and deep valleys slept under forests of pine. High among those mountains lived the tribe of the stone giants. They were builders of great halls carved into the cliffs, hunters of thunder beasts and guardians of the northern passes. Their footsteps shook the ground, and their voices rolled like distant storms. Among them lived a giantess named Laura. Laura was taller than many warriors and stronger than most hunters. She could carry tree trunks across her shoulders and lift stones that took 3 giants to move. Her long dark hair moved with the mountain wind, and her eyes were calm and patient, but strength was not the thing her tribe cared about most. Among the giants, the future of the tribe was sacred. Children were rare and precious. Each new life meant the tribe would survive another generation. For many seasons, the elders waited for Laura to bear a child. Winter passed into spring, spring turned into summer. Summer faded into snow again, till no child came. At first, the whispers were quiet. Later, they became sharp words carried through the halls. Some giants said the spirits had closed her fate. Others said she was cursed. Some simply looked at her with pity. Laura heard every word, yet she never answered them. She hunted beside the warriors. She guarded the mountain passes. She carried stone for the halls and wood for the fires. She gave everything she had to the tribe, but in their eyes it was never enough. One evening, the elders called the tribe to the circle of fire. The flames burned bright against the dark cliffs, and every giant stood silent. Laura stepped forward. The oldest elder looked at her with tired eyes. Laura, daughter of the mountains, you are strong and loyal, but our tribe grows smaller every year. We must think of the future. Words felt heavy even before he finished. The spirits have given you no child. Because of this, we cannot keep a place for you among the tribe. A quiet wind moved through the circle. You must leave the mountain halls and walk your own path. No one spoke after that. Laura stood still for a long moment, then she bowed her head when she turned and walked away from the only home she had ever known. No one followed the journey down the mountain. Took many days. The cold air slowly became warm. The sharp rocks turned into green hills. Forests spread across the valleys, and rivers moved like silver snakes through the land. Laura walked alone. At night she slept under the open sky. During the day, her steps carried her farther from the life she had lost for the first time. In her long life, the world felt endless and empty. One afternoon, she reached a wide meadow. Golden grass moved under the wind like waves on the seabirds circled high in the sky, and a river curved across the valley. Near the river stood a small human village. Laura had seen humans before, from far away. Tiny people who built small houses and moved quickly like ants. Giants rarely spoke with them. She planned to walk past the valley and continue her wandering. But as she stepped through the tall grass, a voice called out, "Hey, you!" Laura stopped. She looked down and saw a small human man standing in the field. He carried a wooden staff and a travel pack. His hair moved in the wind, and his face showed no fear. Most humans would run at the sight of a giant. This one simply looked up at her. Laura spoke slowly so her voice would not frighten him. "Little one, you should move away. I might step on you without seeing." The man smiled. "I trust you will not." Laura studied him with quiet curiosity. "Why, are you not afraid?" The man shrugged lightly. "You do not look like someone who wishes to harm people." The answer surprised Hermie. "Name is Arlen," the man said. Laura. They stood in the moving grass while the wind whispered around them. Marlon looked toward the mountains behind her. "You came from there?" "Yes, that is a long journey. We'll walk farther." Wyler was silent for a moment, then she answered, "My tribe sent me a Wylan." Frowned slightly. "What would they do that because I cannot give them children?" The words were simple but heavy. Arlen thought quietly, then He said something that changed everything. Come with meal. Laura blinked. Slowly come where to, the village by the river, the people, their struggle. Every winter, storms break our bridge and floods destroy the fields. We spend months repairing what nature destroys. He looked up at her, against someone as strong as you could help us. Laura had never heard anyone speak to her like that among the giants. She had been judged for what she could not give. This small human only saw what she could do. You would allow a giant to live among humans? Arlen laughed softly. Why not? You are just a person who happens to be taller than the rest of us. Those words stayed in her mind. Just a person. Slowly Laura followed him toward the village. At first the villagers were afraid. Children hid behind doors. Farmers stood frozen in the fields. But Arlen spoke calmly to them. She is not here to harm anyone. She is here to help. The first chance came when spring rains filled the river. The old wooden bridge cracked, and the water began tearing it apart while the villagers shouted in fear. Laura stepped into the raging river. The current crashed against her legs, but she stood like a mountain. She lifted stones larger than wagons and placed them deep into the riverbed. One by one, she built new supports stronger than the old bridge had ever been. By sunset, the bridge stood firm against the rushing water. The villagers watched in amazement. After that day, their fears slowly faded. When storms knocked down trees, Laura cleared the roads. When floods threatened the fields, she dug channels to guide the water away. When heavy wagons broke their wheels, she lifted them with ease. The village grew stronger with every passing season. Children began waving to her whenever she walked near the river. Farmers left baskets of bread, fruit, and cheese as gifts in the evenings. Arlen often sat beside her near the water. They talked about the world beyond the valley, about mountains, forests, and distant lands. One evening he looked up at her and smiled. You seem happier now. Laura watched the river moving under the golden sunset. Yes, she had been cast out for being unable to give life, yet here life had grown stronger because she was present. Fields were wider, homes were safer. The village was no longer afraid of every storm. Sometimes the world measured worth in the wrong ways, and sometimes all it took to change a life was a single moment in a field of golden grass, when a small human looked up at a lonely giantess and said, "Come with me."